Welcome back to our channel. My name is Ope, and here I have Ayo and a special guest. Now, I think for our relatively new subscribers, or those who have chosen not to subscribe, even though we've told them since, I know they hear what, we've told them since. Anyway, so you might not have seen this face.
Yeah.
There's an old video of you. I want you guys to actually go and look at it. I'm going to challenge you. Look for the video.
Well, that was like 5-6 years ago.
Yes.
5 years ago.
Look for the video and comment and say, I've watched this video now. I'd like to know the people who have just watched it. But I think I should let you introduce yourself. Who are you? Who are you to us? And yeah.
Hey guys, my name's Oyen, also known as Oyen Mog.
Better.
Yes, if you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
And I'm Ope's younger sister.
So what number are you?
I'm number 3.
So I'm number 1, guys. And Oyen, we have another sister who's also called Ayo.
Yeah.
Then we have Oyen, number 3. And then we have my brother, Demi. So there's 4 of us all together.
And then we have me now.
And you've been upgraded to Firstborn.
And to
Yes,
Lorraine.
To Lorraine, because you were third born in your family, but now you're firstborn by way of being married.
Of being married.
Exactly. So we were talking with Oyen, and we have a lot of conversation with Oyen, I think, generally, because of the fact that there's a, should I say, even though guys, me and Ayo look 25 and 26, we look that age, but with Oyen, we actually get an insight into what her generation, even though we're at the same generation, obviously, what her generation is thinking about, talking about, what love is about, what dating is about. So we have a lot of conversation around that, and we thought we might as well bring it to the people.
To the white table.
To the white table, exactly. And actually have conversation around love, dating, marriage from your perspective and from your friend's perspective.
From a single's
perspective, or to be married perspective.
Thanks guys, thanks for having me on.
Yes, it's a pleasure. I mean, feel free. Our people they're cool.
Yeah.
They're cool. They're So yeah, listen up. So I don't know if you guys know me and Ayo's story. We got married at the age of 25 and 26. And back then, I think that was around the age all our friends were getting married.
Yeah. Okay.
Everyone was getting married around that age, 25, 26. But now when I look at Oyen, your age, your friends, I feel like, I don't think it's in general, I don't think it's on the table of this generation right now. Whereas back then, my age, I think that was our next step. That was the thing that we wanted to do at that time. So what do you think has changed?
So I think, to be honest with you, the desire for women, my age anyway, I'm 29, to get married is still there. So like men, we'll talk about men in a minute.
Okay.
But as for women, the desire is still there. If they could get married at 25, they'll get married at 25. 26, they get married at 26. And obviously you know that they say that women obviously mature faster than men. So a woman at 25 is like a man at 22. And I think, so in that respect, women still want to get married. But where I think it's like a bit different is the men are not they don't see it as a priority to get married. A lot of men, obviously, things have changed. The average salary is different. Men want to have their house in place first. They want to have their car. They want to make sure that they're, sorting out themselves in other respects before they now say, oh, let me get a wife.
Get married,
and as a result, the age is pushed from 25 to like, I'm not even joking, like 35.
Yeah, because
so that's for men, yeah?
That's for men.
So, okay, maybe let's move first of all, go back to women. So you're saying women still want to get married at 25 and get married early. But I think what we're finding now, based on what we were saying, is that a lot of women are now also pushing back towards like 30s. I was thinking that there's this new breed of independent women, right? So independent woman thinking that, oh, I don't need a man right? So which means I'm good all by myself. I can do me. I can do my own thing. I can buy my own house. I can have my own car. I have a nice job. All right. So do you think that is also contributing to the age that women are getting married now?
I think it's 50-50, if I'm to be honest with you. I actually think it's 50-50, and I don't want anyone to come for me for saying this, but sometimes you have to be an independent woman because of the rejection you're facing. Because no one is gonna, marry you. Because no one, not that no one is gonna marry, but because no one has married you. Because no one has, looked after you. You have to wake up and say, you know what, I'm gonna look after myself. I'm gonna buy my own house. I'm gonna buy my own car. I'm gonna pay my mortgage. I'm gonna do everything I need to do for me instead of waiting around. Women in my generation, which I love about them, they're not waiting around. If you're not gonna do it for me,
I'll do it for myself.
and that's why you see a lot of women my age, high flyers, like they're doing so well in their career because back in our parents' days, a man needed to provide that. Right. They needed to rely on mum and your mum. They needed to rely on a man to, take them off the streets, as we call it now. And then from that, that's how they will have a life and a future. But now women are saying that, look, if you're not going to choose me, what can I do? I'm good. And I don't even think that is true. I don't think they're actually good. But I think when you're forced to, what can you do?
Okay. Because you can't hold yourself back waiting for...
You can't hold yourself back. So I don't even
yeah.
blame women. Like, you cannot hold yourself back. You have to keep going. And that's why you see, like, such a disparity between women, where they are in their lives, and men. Because men, it's really weird. Men are also chasing that thing, but they're also not getting in a relationship with a girl until they have that thing. And women are not waiting for men to have that thing. They're just going for it themselves. Yeah. So there's a big disparity.
And it's so funny what you said about the men waiting for, because I remember there was someone that we know, that we all know, that we're like, I proposed to this girl now, propose to this girl, you've been together for ages. And he was like, nah, I need to buy my house first, I need to do this first. And we're like, why? Because the funny thing is, in the UK now, apparently, guys, I think the average age for buying a house is 38? Really? 35, 38, between 35 and 38.
Where did you get that statistic?
I heard it recently on the news that, the house of prices, the house of prices, maybe you can Google it. The house of prices are going, the price, the price of houses are going so high that people cannot afford to buy a house. So imagine a guy waiting till he's 37, 38 before he marries because he wants to buy a house.
So now it's two things now, obviously. So I think we're saying the same thing.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting now is, in my time, or maybe it's not necessarily in my time. I think maybe I should just speak to men, right? So let me speak to men.
Your time was like the 950s or 1960s.
Let me speak to men. Let me address the men. So a lot of men are waiting to have it all, right? But what I will say is that you don't need to wait to have it all. You can actually build with a good woman.
That's true.
Do you understand?
That's true.
Because if you marry a good woman, a woman who has a good head, okay, because the Bible says whoever finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor. So when you find a good wife, she will definitely bring favor to your life.
Absolutely.
So the reason a lot of guys are waiting is because, let me have all these things, then I will find the good woman. Not knowing that when you find this good woman, she would help you and bring the favor that will help you find all these things. And,
Absolutely.
And I feel like that's the situation for me.
Yeah.
That's the situation for me. You know this.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not your average woman, to be honest. I'm not your average woman.
This one.
No, you're a virtuous woman.
Yeah.
Virtuous woman. Exactly. Okay, so you mentioned something about rejection. Let's talk about that a little bit. Right? So, feeling of rejection, feeling like, okay, nobody wants me, or feeling like my type doesn't exist. Or, so what is that feeling of rejection like from a woman's perspective?
So from a woman's perspective, obviously I've never really been rejected. So
we don't get rejected. We don't. I mean, look, guys, face card doesn't decline.
I mean,
face card doesn't decline.
But I think the feeling of rejection works in twofold. Like when you fail in school, like let's say any of your exams, it either does two things. You're either encouraged that I'm never gonna fail again, and you work your socks off. You're in that library daily, day in, day out.
Yeah.
Or you say, do you know what? I'm I'm not that good.
And
Like, let me just give up. Let me go into something else.
Okay.
And I think what women now have done is they found a balance between the two. That I am going to try hard, but not necessarily for a man. For me, that's how you get this new age of like self-love, main character syndrome. Like, I'm the main character in my own story. There's these new narratives, especially on like Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. That's why people are just posting more. If you don't have a man, it's fine. You'll post, taking yourself out on dates. I don't know if you guys have come across that.
Yeah. I've seen that a lot.
Taking yourself out on dates, doing more for you. And I completely agree with it, by the way. Because if no one's going to woo you, why not woo yourself? But at the same time, I think women are not honest about how much they need men.
Okay, good. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Okay, so from I like what you said about the rejection stuff, right? Because it's actually two things. But I think we've now seen some women that have now actually given up.
Oh, yeah.
So we've seen some women that are, okay, I am now over 30, I'm now 35, I'm now 40, right? So there's no man out there for me. I'm just going to do my thing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have my babies, because there's no man out there. So again, I wanted to talk about, is there a shortage of men? But we'll come to that. I just want to drop that there first. We'll come back to that. Because
exactly.
Because you talked about not being honest. So you feel like single ladies now want to get married. They desire a good marriage. They desire men, but they act like they don't need it.
Yeah, but it's because it hurts. It hurts.
Rejection hurts.
You constantly put yourself out there,
and
no one wants to be with you. And there's even another problem of not being your type's type. Do you understand? So there's a certain group of girls who always get what they want in the end because the type of people they like also like them. But what happens when you're a high flyer? You're a nice person, you're saved, you're self-aware, all of this, but the type of guy that you like is only attracted to skinny girls. And it's offensive, but what happens? What happens? Like, there's not enough men who are open to different types, and men are very physical beings as well.
Exactly, I was going to say,
So
with men,
really
it's very focused on the physical. And you don't want to, I would never say to someone, like, change yourself because of a man. Because when you fall back into your real self, what happens? He's not going to be able to handle it.
Now, my issue with this, your type is that I feel like as we grow older, right, your type actually changes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but you don't know that at 24, 23. You don't know that by the time you get to 30, 31, 32, 33, and you realize that actually the guy that I've been chasing for the last 7 years, the type of guy that I've been chasing for the last 7 years, is not the guy I've wanted. How many guys would you have rejected in that time? It might be two before you realize that.
But so what I'm saying now is, so if the young girls, okay, realize that, okay, this type that I'm holding on to now is not actually a thing. It's not actually a thing being that, okay, now I'm not sure. Okay, I think I'm your type. I think all your boxes.
No, you asked this question before and I said I didn't really have a type.
No, I think I'm your type.
Baby.
I'm your dream guy. I'm your dream guy.
No, baby.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. But I know I'm your dream guy. Now, if we go back 10 years ago or 12 years ago when I met you, you were not really my type.
I know, that's what I said. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, I was not his type. So
and it's not in a malicious way,
I just didn't know.
Like, you're a beautiful woman and everything. So when I'm talking about my type, I'm listening.
Light-skinned girls. Very, very racist. Imagine.
I'm looking.
So I'm now going to be bleaching because of man.
No, I know, but there's girls that actually do this.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't ever say you want to bleach your skin because of any guy, because there's some guys that have said, oh, I like my women fair. And then you see a black girl who is now doing bleaching and complexion.
Oh, I like my girl with a big bum.
And then you're now doing BBL. And you're now sick because of BBL.
Because they put silicone in your bum.
So don't do that. So you have the high-flying woman, 6-figure and everything, but it's almost like men are now intimidated by her.
Yeah.
But you see,
is that a thing at all?
That is a thing. And
that is a thing that bothers me as well. Obviously, as a mom to 3 girls, we are already pushing them to be the best. Like, I'm not saying Michaela or Mariah be the best in terms of the best girl. No, you be the best overall. So I don't want them to ever have that mentality where they have to dim their lights because of a man. And I feel like that's what's happening, because I feel like those guys that are intimidated, and I'm talking about a normal girl, that it's not that she's rude, egotistical, arrogant, or she lords it over you. those guys that are intimidated, is that the guy that you really should be with?
Exactly. I just feel like those guys are just not for you.
They're not for you.
There are high value men and there are actually high value women. And so what you just said about your daughters and stuff, I feel like if you're a high value woman and you're in spaces with high value men, you have a chance of getting a high value man.
Yeah, but
That's
the difference is, the problem here is just a male and female problem, in the sense that men always have more of a pick. And even as they grow older, remember, like PK said, their pool is getting higher.
Your options increase.
Yeah, their options increase. Whereas a woman who's a high flyer, if she misses it, for want of a better word, the word miss is a bit strong, but if she doesn't get it in the first few years, then she becomes, oh, what's wrong with her?
Yeah.
Oh, why doesn't she do anything? Why isn't it? But that will never happen for a man.
Can I just say as well, what people don't realize, what makes a high value woman isn't a high flyer. That's what people don't realize.
Okay, so tell us, so what makes a high value woman then?
A beautiful woman.
A beautiful woman.
A beautiful woman who looks after herself, a beautiful woman who's well kept. Okay. It's more about how you present yourself and look, and that's just the honest truth.
So it's not about, for the high value woman, it's less about the bank account.
No, because a high value man don't need a bank account. He's already got that himself.
Okay, but what if the guy also needs someone who, knows that, okay, this one is not just coming to take from me. This one also has right to pour into me and to give into this relationship so that we can grow together.
So I think there's definitely a rise in women getting into their own bag and having their own education or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think the high value man needs.
He doesn't need that. But should I tell you what my issue is? My issue is that you then have the woman that's just okay looking, right, or average looking, right, wanting this.
High value.
Exactly. The non-high value woman, right, wanting the high value man, right? So non-high value woman.
What you want though, like you can't. You want what you want. Like this is giving me like.
Yeah, but the man that you want,
Jacob, Rachel, and Leah vibes. Like she like.
But the man,
she because she didn't look as good as Rachel, she didn't get his love, but she gave him what he needed. All those children that he needed, he didn't know that he needed. She gave, but he didn't see that as any value. Because,
but he cannot see that as any value because guess what? He wanted the sister because the sister was beautiful. That's who he fell in love with, and that's the mistake that a lot of girls today are making. A lot of girls today are saying, if I give him this, if I give him sex, if I have a baby, if I clean his house, maybe
if I clean his boxers,
whatever. So
don't clean boxers before marriage.
So a lot of single ladies are now doing the most to get this guy. So going back to types, right? Because the type that you want is not your type. No. So you need to start asking those questions.
But baby,
if the type that you want is not your type, then why are you really going for that type?
If I want my type, then I need to be my type. Obviously, I need to go and I need to do what's needed as a woman to be my type or whatever. But people don't realize that there's the left wing, there's the right wing, and then there's everything in between. I personally feel like I'm in between all of that. And in between, you'll find men who are your type, women who are your type, and make it work. But the problem comes when you've got the extremes.
Okay.
You're not this girl, but you want this guy. And you're not this guy, but you want this girl. Like, look at where you are. And adjust to where you are.
Simple. And I think that's what it is, right? So, literally cut your coat according to
your size.
Cut it because
you go to church, find someone in the choir. No, you go to church, find someone in the choir. Don't say that, oh, Brother Augustine, he's always leading praise and worship. I don't like that type of guy. I want someone to take me here. Find somebody that's just like you, same interests.
Yeah, but wait. Isn't this why we have we judge? So let's say we see on Instagram, we see a very, very, very big girl or very, very big guy. No, usually it's a very big girl and a slim, good-looking guy. And you're like, why are they together? What joins them together? Could be their mind.
Yeah.
And or you see a very old man and you see a young girl. That
one is not the mind, forget it. That one is the guy has money and the girl, I don't care, I don't want to hear anything. I'm joking by the way. No, anybody can actually, I was just joking. Anybody can actually be in love.
Exactly.
But most times when you see a big gap, like a huge gap like that, the guy is really financially
stable.
And
he's financially young.
And the woman feels like, this is my this is my retirement plan.
You're right though. People's minds can draw them together. Anything can draw someone together. But I think those are outliers though.
And that's fine, right? So what you said something there that I want to come back to. So because we said that when we're talking about the high value woman, we're talking about, okay, she looks good, she presents herself well. I feel like the high value woman also needs this.
Yes,
because that is your value that you're adding to me. Like, I want to be able to come home
and talk
about my business with you, talk about my ideas with you.
Not for you to just do contour and makeup.
Not for you to be doing bone straight and, you know.
The truth is, the high value woman has it all. Not only is she beautiful, but she also knows how to have a good conversation. She's in her bag, you know, she's got her life together, she's a high flyer. That is what.
So what's the difference between the slay queen and the high value woman?
I think it just depends on what type of high value man is requesting, because there's some men that they're actually okay with just having a beauty queen, a trophy of a wife.
Yeah. And so the slay queen is the beauty queen.
Yes.
So she's not really doing anything. She's just fine and, you know, sexy.
Yeah, there are those women as well.
And then, but they're slightly different from the high value women.
I would actually argue that the high value woman in today's generation, I'm not talking about us as Christians, in today's generation is the beauty queen, because that's what
society wants. Yeah.
If you go and check the education of some of their partners, they're like airheads, not in a rude way. But they're beautiful. But
it's not by education. I don't care about education anymore.
But it is a little bit by education.
If you don't check what they're doing for themselves, they might not be doing much. Do you understand? But I think
that's because they don't need to do much. Because look at the average.
Your mind.
No, even look at the average, you know, rich millionaire African man. You know, billionaire or millionaire, right?
His wife still has a side hustle. His wife still has a side hustle
that he probably built
exactly that he probably set up for her.
But she's maintaining it, you know.
So it's a case just for her to be doing something small in the house so she doesn't get bored. But did he meet her like that? That's what I'm saying. When you look at all of these obas of these places, they're with young women who there's not a lot going on for themselves, but they're beautiful. And so I would say in society's eyes, a high value woman is the one that's beautiful. Although I do think it's changing now. People are realizing I don't just want beauty. I want someone that can, you know, have a good conversation, that's doing.
And could this be why women are falling short? Because they're focusing on the beauty, they're focusing on that nose job, they're focusing on that boob job, they're focusing on that BBL, because they think that's what will make them the high value woman, what is in their body, rather than focusing on what's inside.
In their mind. Because I feel like that value that, from a man's perspective, you know, a man that has his head screwed on, you need that.
Yeah. But this is what I think we're all saying the same thing, but like, I think the reason why women are falling short is because they're not finding balance. It's not just to be beautiful, and it's not just to have this. People have this. We know so many people that have this, by the way, they've got like 4 degrees.
No.
There's no one.
So it's not, when I say this, I'm not talking about like academical, academic knowledge.
But they're clued up, but you can be clued up but not attractive.
So I get that. So it's many things. So it's as we are.
You can be beautiful but not clued up.
Yeah. So it's as we are becoming beautiful and painting our faces, right? So we also beautify our brains, right? And not just like for books and, you know, because you can be book smart.
Common sense.
You have common sense. And you're actually relatable. You're actually relatable. So the problem with someone who is, okay, I'm very clever and doing things that, oh, this person is not relatable, this person is not interesting. Yeah. And I think that one thing that guys are looking for is, guys like fun girls.
Oh yeah.
And this is why when a man marries a boring woman, right, he would always go outside to look for that fun person.
Yeah. And that's how the emotional attachment starts. Because you could see him, and sometimes people look like, oh my God, her. And it's not because of her. Yeah. It's because of her here.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the man wants to have some fun. He wants to be able to laugh. Because one of the things that a man wants is that you want your babe, your wife, to actually be your best friend. And when you see guys talking, when you see guys laughing, shouting, your guy wants to actually be able to relate with you like that. And if he cannot have that type of fun with you, right, then something is missing.
Something is missing.
And I think as well, the reason, just to follow up from the initial point, why women are single and stuff like that, and not as many men are, is because, similar to what you said, women are realizing that we don't want to be part of this patriarchy anymore.
Yes.
Why is it that, so everything you said was you want your man to, obviously it's for the example, you want your man will be happy when he's got a fun girl, your man this, your man that, your man that. It's always about what the man wants. And women are realising that, no, I don't want the short straw. I actually want to be fulfilled as well. What about me? I want to be the one that's being pampered.
Yeah.
So women are like, no, if he makes money, he's nice, he's kind, and all of these things, but he's still missing an element that I feel like I need, I don't want him. So women too are being picky.
Yeah, so and that is
but
fine.
I don't even think that's being picky. I feel like that is what it should be.
So everybody has their standards, right? So you have your standards. So for a Christian woman, I believe that, the man must be born again, he must be a believer, right? And then he must tick certain boxes as well. He must be kind, he must be a person of character and all of that. But truth be said, right? The man still calls the shots.
He does.
So that's why...
But women are trying to change that.
But you cannot change it, really.
Why?
That is why you see a woman dating this guy. You've been dating for 5 years. What's happening? I'm waiting for the proposal. I'm waiting for him to pop the question, right? And you ask the guy, 5 years, what's happening? He's like, yeah, I'm just taking my time. It's not like I'm waiting for the woman. The woman is waiting for him to pop the question because it actually lies in his hands whether we're going to get married or not.
Yeah.
The man does call the shots.
So, and that is why, unfortunately, I don't feel like that table can be turned.
But that's what they're trying to do.
But it can be turned.
And that's why girls are shooting their shots and girls are now proposing to guys. And we're just like, why are you proposing to a man?
No.
Why are you proposing to a woman?
Don't propose to a woman, Sha. But anyway.
The woman should not propose to another woman.
Afro juju shino pita zigba ti wa lode. Afro juju shino pita zigba ti wa lode. Tell me na di yummy to me sing. You're pretending you don't know that song.
I don't know that song. I'm sorry.
You don't know that song.
I'm not a Raz girl. I'm not a Raz girl. You know, we're passing your old hood. When you showed me your old house.
Why did you
I
expose that?
showed them the house.
And I'm like, wow.